I was kicked off of eBay permanently for life. This isn't clickbait, guys. This isn't going to be your typical, highly edited video. For those of you that don't know me, I want to tell you a little bit of my story about how it started and how my journey almost ended before it even started. For those of you who don't know me, I'm retired Navy. Joined the Navy right out of high school. I collected sports cards a lot when I was a kid. Mostly baseball, was a little bit into football, but I was really really into baseball. I joined the Navy right out of high school, and I followed sports, but obviously I was moving around a lot, new base every couple of years. I followed sports as best I could. Back in those days, it's not like nowadays where you can get any team anywhere. If you didn't, I'm live right across the bridge from Philadelphia, in New Jersey. If you weren't in Philly area, you couldn't get those type of games. And so when I joined the Navy, I got I followed sports as much as I could, but I got out of sports cards. I actually got married, moved to Japan with my wife for 3 years. Then I couldn't follow sports at all. We had one English channel on the entire TV that we paid for. So then I really got out of sports. Got assigned a recruiting duty in northern New Jersey, where my wife's family's from. Only about 30 miles north of here. Funny, while I was recruiting, actually, trying to recruit young men and women, I went into a baseball card shop. Nice little rinky dink mom and pop shop. Married couple ran it. Manville, New Jersey. I was there a long time. And actually, I got back into sports cards. I actually ended up working for him. He would give me boxes of cards to take home and work on at night on my free time, and he would pay me in cards. That's so. If you look at my original collection, I got cards from pre-early '90s, and then from like '98 to 2000. 2000. Then the towers happened. I just finished recruiting. I was in school to go back to my ship, and September 11th happened. And I went right to Afghanistan. Right after my schools, I went right to Afghanistan. We came back. We went into dry dock, tore the ship apart, went right to Iraq. So I spent basically, 2 years at sea. During Iraq, we were underway for 7 months. I touched land for 3 days. We hit one port on the way back for Malta. We hit Malta for 3 days on the way back. Obviously, we didn't get any TV then at all. So, and just a little note on that. One thing that really irritated me, the way the ones that were fighting the war on the ship, found out about the war, is we're standing in the hangar bay at night, looking out over the ocean, and you see the rockets going skimming over the ocean. We weren't told that it started. I go into the mess and turn on CNN national news, and they're telling the whole world that the war started. But those of us on the ship that are actually doing it weren't told till about 6 hours later. Figure that out. Oh, they didn't want anybody releasing the information. It was on the news. I retired in 2013. 20 years. As soon as I retired, I started up my landscaping business, and wasn't back into it. And I just life. Take advantage of life while you can. It took me a couple years. I was so busy with everything. I retired from the Navy to get back in my hometown, catch up with my kids, catch up with all the lost time with my family. Funny, what actually got me back into cards was my wife was, yeah, we're gonna get all our stinking cards out of the closet. They're taking up the whole closet. so, so after she's bugged me about that like 5 or 6 times, I literally my only intention was to take them out of the closet and move them down into the rec room so she could have her closet back. And you know, I started remembering. Yeah, I've always wanted to be a car dealer. When I was a kid, the only setup I ever did before a few years ago was the second time I was recruiting, which is my area where I live. Me and one of the guys that worked for me at the recruiting station actually went and set up a table at the Columbus Flea Market, and that was right around 2000 when all of the new when the autograph cards and patch cards and all that stuff was brand new. And I remember I just opened up a box of 2000 Topps Heritage. I think it was the second year they had that, and I opened up a Y.A. Tittle autograph card. That was the big thing. He was a Hall of Famer. I don't know who he was. Now I actually really like him after I checked out his career. And I think that was my one big sales because I always had late '80s and stuff. So I mean I sold a lot of it, but it was a bunch of little stuff. He shows up with all the new. patch cards and RPAs and stuff like that. I was like, well, what that stuff's pretty cool. I would hardly knew what it was. Bring us to the present day. I don't want to babble on too much, and I apologize if I am. So I finally take the cards out. I start sorting them, and I remember how much sports cards meant to me, and how much I really wanted to do it. And yeah, my kids were growing up. It was time. It's time for me to do something for myself. And I'd gone away for 20 years. Left everything behind, and I was like, working my butt off, doing everything I can for my family. I'm like, it's time for me to do something that I want, and I'm going to enjoy, that I want to do. And I've always wanted to do this. So 2 weeks before this, just to give you an idea of how out of sports, how out of touch I was with sports. Football was my favorite sport. It's always been my favorite sport, except for when I was a kid. I didn't really. Baseball was the only. But as an adult, football's always been my favorite sport. And I knew I was going to start trying to sell cards. I really didn't know how. The only thing I knew was sports card shows and eBay. I knew eBay was huge. I had bought a lot of cards on eBay before, and I literally bought like stacks of the same cards with the intention, knowing someday I was going to be selling cards. And so I went to a card show, and I was digging through a 25-cent box, found a Joe Burrow rookie card. I don't know who he was. The guy was appearing in the NFC Championship game, and the quarterback, I didn't know who he was. That's how out of tune I was for sports for so many years. 2 weeks before a Super Bowl. 2 weeks for a Super Bowl. I go on, and I knew Tom Brady was, one of the biggest players, and I was like, oh, this guy's appeared, went to the NFC Champion, or is in the Super Bowl. I'm like, this is going to be a great sale. I think I put 5, maybe 6 cards up there. I think the most expensive card was like $6, $8. So we're talking 5, 6 cards, $4, $5, $6 a piece is what I put up there. Again, I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm finally, 30 years of my waiting. I'm finally gonna start selling sports cards. I know eBay is hot. They've been selling cards for decades. I wake up the next morning. You are permanently banned for life from eBay. I was like, what? 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 This has got to be a mistake. I first thought it was a joke, or I read it wrong. No suspensions, no warnings, no temporary, permanently banned for life for putting up 5 cards for $5 a piece. I didn't rip off a customer. I did not ship anything. All I did was list a couple of cards. I was permanently banned. I didn't do anything wrong. So, so I was like, oh, well, all right, let me try to find a phone number. Oh, by the way, this is during COVID. This is during the peak of COVID. So, yeah, they don't have a phone number. What little I had learned to try to get back in the hobby, I'd learned through YouTube. So I went and, I went to, read as many videos as I can. There had to have been 100 people that were going through this. And you could tell from their stories that they weren't, they weren't scammers or getting caught. They were legitimate people that were just doing their everyday business that just, I found out later, it's some computer algorithm. What they did was they took some calculations, threw them in a computer somewhere, and if you meet a certain criteria that some of these scammers do, then you're flagged and poof, you're just expelled. Like permanently deleted, permanently banned, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're not reviewed by a human. You're just flagged and poof, like, that's it. You're done. So I was like, surely this is a mistake. I'm sure there's something I can do. So I called around. I did get a phone number. Again, it's during COVID. Even if the phone number worked, all the offices were closed. Everybody was working from their house. So the first phone number I got didn't work. Then I got another phone number, and that just went to an answer machine. And everybody that even gave me the number said that if they ever get a response, which very rarely happen, it takes weeks. Like, I'm talking like 2 months. So I knew that was going on. So everybody again. I'm checking emails. I'm checking every internet thing. I'm checking YouTube is where I got most of my information from. I mean, you can check. You want to find something for your house or your life, you check Google. You want to figure out how to do something, you check YouTube. So again, there was all kinds of videos. Like there had to have been 100 or 150 people this happened to right around the same time frame it did for me. And so I turned around. I got another phone number. I left a message 3 or 4 times. Knew I was never going to hear anything back. So everybody was telling me to go on to eBay. They said the only way you can contact anybody, you're actually gonna get to talk to somebody, is the online chat. Like where you hit the bubble comes up, you chat, and they eventually answer you. And they said when it first happens, it's the computer, and you got to keep hitting something. So I'd sit there for a half an hour, finally get a person. Here's my name, here's my account, here's what's going on. Please hold. 10, 15 minutes later, somebody come back and they would see my code and they just, poof, here's the generic, you're permanently banned for life. There's nothing we can do. Hang up. Like, that was it. That was it. Yeah, I mean, I did this 3 times a day for 2 weeks. I'd get up in the morning, I'd get on eBay, I'd contact them, get the same freaking thing. They keep sending me the same. They don't talk to me. They just sent me the same generic text letter, and I was at my wit's end. So I finally I was desperate. So I went on and I went to every single sports card guy on YouTube that I can think of, and I was like, I explained to him. I was like, look, I was like, I'm a veteran. Like I didn't do anything wrong. I'm like, and I don't know what I told him. I was like, I've been doing this for 3 weeks. Like nobody will talk to me. 3 people answered me, and those of you that did answer me, I am going to mention you in future videos, and I appreciate what you did. Although it didn't help, I know you helped every way you could and took the time to answer me, no matter how big they were. And I appreciate it. And later on in my YouTube channels, you're gonna get the thank yous and recognition that you deserve. And I appreciate the ones of you that did answer for me. Eventually, the only suggestion I got was when I get in those chats to keep asking for a manager. There is a manager in there. They're the only ones that have the authorization to do it, and it will take some time, but they're the only ones that will actually take the time to review your case and actually override it. So finally, it took me 4 attempts. Finally, I got a manager. And then the manager said, "Oh, I'm not high enough to do that. I'm going to pass your case on to somebody else." Waited a couple days, didn't hear anything. So went back, did the manager thing again. Finally, I got to somebody. It was a manager. She told me she had the authority to do it. They've had lots of cases like this coming in. She knew exactly what I was talking about. And she would review my case and get back to me within 72 hours, I think it was, 3 days. And it want to take a while. Guess what happened? 3 days later, I get the same freaking text letter. You're permanently banned. I gave up. 30 years I've been wanting to sell cards. And like I said, I'm older. I didn't know about all these other auctions. eBay was all I knew. It's the only thing I knew that existed other than going to card shows, which you could do, once or twice a month? You know? And I had been permanently banned. I felt like somebody had punched me in the stomach. My wife comes out when I kind of told her what was going on, but I didn't get in details. And she comes out, she's like, what's wrong with you? I was packing up my cards and getting ready to throw them back in the closet. Like, I was just getting ready. I was so pissed off. I was so frustrated. I mean, like, and when I talked to the manager, I'm like, look, lady, I'm retired military. It's like, I could literally send you a copy of my orders that said, 2 months ago, I had a secret security clearance. I'm a volunteer firefighter who spent 20 years going into people's houses while they were empty and saving them and not stealing stuff. I can send you my background check. I was like, look at my account. You'll see 15 years ago, at this name and this address, had an eBay account that bought stuff, never had any problems, no complaints, 100% satisfaction. Look, Hey, tell me what you need. I'll get it for you. I'll get you my orders. I'll get you my background check. I'll tell you what you need to look up my old accounts and like tell me what you need. No matter what it is, I don't care. I'll do it. I'm telling you, I'm innocent. I didn't do anything wrong. I literally put 5 cards up for sale. Like, how could I have done anything wrong when nothing ever sold? I literally put 5 cards that I know are legitimate cards up on your site, and you permanently suspended me. Like, I couldn't have done anything wrong. Nothing ever sold. I know they weren't counterfeit. Like, like what? What the heck? What am I supposed to do? Tell me. I'll do it. Yep, that was it. So, so yes, Bazooka Joe, with thousands and thousands of sales, thousands of followers, darn it near never got into the sports card business. Because, like I said, eBay was all I knew, and literally the day I tried to start selling, I got permanently banned for life. And for 6 weeks I fought this. I called every number, every email. I got on the chat for at 3. I do it in the morning. I try to do it at lunch if I can get home for lunch at night. And I was packing my stuff up. I was so pissed off. I was so frustrated. I was ready to throw my cards back in the closet and never touch cards again. I didn't know what else to do. So, needless to say, I am normally not a vengeful person. I normally don't take my anger out on people or companies. This was personal. They made this personal. And I figured out how I was going to make them hear me. And if I wasn't a vet, I almost guarantee you, if I wasn't a veteran, this probably wouldn't have worked. So I pulled some strings and I posted somewhere where I knew they were going to see me and they couldn't ignore me. Within an hour, 1 hour after posting this, I had my account back. So, lessons learned. Number one, these companies, they don't care about you. They care about your money. And if you ain't there, somebody's gonna take your place. You're peanuts in their thing. So don't think these companies care about you. I'm not saying anything bad about eBay. I'm not bad mouthing eBay overall. I mean I've been using them for years. I did a lot of research. I know why they did what they did, and that's why I'm not going to advertise either why I was suspended or how I got it back. If any of you out there are going through this, I can try to help you, but I need to talk with you to make sure you are legitimately going through this and you aren't an actual scammer. Okay, I'm not. I'm not just going to send you the information. If any of you have gone through this, please leave it in the comments. If any of you are going through this, please leave it in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I don't want you getting bold faced the brick wall like I was. I'll do everything I can to help you, but again, we're gonna have to communicate, and I'm gonna have to make sure that you're legitimately an innocent person that's going through this. I could probably help you get it back. Needless to say, I got it back. That was a couple years ago. Again, I came to my first eBay, and I was so frustrated when I got it back. I put up like 30, 40 cards on eBay, and like kind of. I was hurt. Like I was pissed off. I was frustrated, and I didn't want to deal with them. And I put up I think like 30 cards on eBay. And I forgot about it for 2 weeks, and all of a sudden I hear cha-ching on my phone. I was like, the heck was that? I sold a 1984 Eric Dickerson rookie card. It was my first sale. And it wasn't, I'm sorry, it wasn't his rookie card. It was like his in action I think it was a record breaker for rookie records, something like that. It was an Eric Dickerson 1984 Topps rookie year card. And I was hooked. I was so freaking excited. I think I sold it for like $1.86 or something. It was like $2 off the stinking thing. And that feeling, that felt so good, and I was hooked, and I haven't stopped since. Thank you for taking the time to listen for me if you can. Please, if you've had any problems with eBay or any of the other apps, please leave them down below. If you've gone through this, please leave it in the comments. Again, if you're going through, if you are still going through this and need help, let me know. I will do what I can. I don't want anybody else to go through this. It's not right. I don't know if again this was years ago. COVID's pretty much over. Hopefully it's changed. But like I said, I know there was a lot of people going through it. So thanks a lot for hanging out. Again, this isn't my typical video where I'm gonna, we're gonna be editing everything. This type of format, if you like me just sitting and talking, please let me know. We'll definitely make more. And please let me know what you guys want to see. This channel is all about you guys. I do have a long list of stuff I want to do. I'm going to be doing a lot of tutorials about the different apps, about how to ship, about how to sell, organization in both eBay and all the, especially auction sites. I'll tell you what, if you're new to auction sites, it can get overwhelming really fast. If you've never done auctions and all of a sudden you're selling like this, it can get overwhelming fast. So we're gonna do a lot of tutorial videos. We're gonna be going to shows. We're gonna be I got a lot of variety. So please let me know what you guys want to see. Leave it down in the comments, and we're gonna do everything we can to make the videos that you guys want to see. So hit the like. Don't forget to subscribe. Comment what you want to see or what's happened to you, and we'll see you soon.